Hello everyone and welcome back to You Can Gourmet with Deviled Eggs. For this recipe you will need 6 boiled eggs, 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, a tablespoon of yellow mustard, a small handful of parsley and some thyme, a pinch of salt, a couple of pinches of pepper, a pat of butter, and Braunschweiger, also known as liverwurst, or in my opinion, liver best. But that's about it. Let's get to it. Okay, so here I have my 6 eggs that I've boiled and peeled, and I'm going to cut these lengthwise. Now, a couple of ways to tell if your eggs are fresh. One, when you put them in water to boil, you'll notice that the bottom end will try to float up a little bit. That tells you that that's an older egg. However, for this, you'd prefer an older egg because they're easier to peel. That's another way to tell. And one way to tell if your eggs are fresh, again, the opposite is true, right? If they go straight to the bottom and stay there, they don't move. The egg yolk would be positioned right in the middle of that egg white once it's boiled, and it becomes more difficult to peel when you do peel them. With that being said, the reason your egg bottoms tend to float up a little bit, eggs just lose moisture over time. So you have air pockets that are now inside that egg shell, and the egg yolk will try to gravitate to it. That's why when you cut down the middle of the boiled egg, you'll see the egg yolk favoring one side more than the other. Anyway, I digress. I do love my eggs though, if you couldn't tell. So now we'll put them in a food processor and we'll go from there. And if you noticed, I only use maybe 2 tablespoons of that liverwurst. If you like it, use more of it. If you don't like it as much, don't use as much. If you don't like liverwurst, well, don't use it altogether. Find something else. It's one of those dishes that eggs lend themselves in many different directions, so you can just have fun with it, improvise. Now that we've combined everything in a food processor, I want to give it a taste, clean off the sides, and keep in mind when you're adding salt, use it very conservatively because that liverwurst will already have salt in it, so taste and adjust accordingly. And we're just looking for that rich, velvety, smooth mix. Not wet, not watery or liquidy, but we do want a very smooth textured paste at this point. Again, it fills in the egg white much better, it pipes out of the bag much better, and again, overall just a better mouthfeel. Now that we're getting close to where I wanted it, I decided I should probably add some freshly squeezed lemon juice to it. Make sure not to get any of the seeds in there. And you saw with my wide open split grip there that a golf ball could have gotten through it and I wouldn't have been able to catch it. But I looked inside the lemon and realized there weren't any seeds in there anyway. But I added my lemon juice. It kind of brightens everything up, brings out all the flavors. My pinch of pepper. And that's about it. We'll give it another pulse. Make sure that we have the lemon juice and that pepper and everything else incorporated really well. And we'll move on to the next step. Now that we have everything in there, we've achieved that peanut butter, soft, melted butter consistency. That's what I was after. Go ahead and scrape off the edges of the bowl one more time. Again, just to double check everything. Here I decided to go ahead and add just a little bit more lemon juice to it. And this will be about the time I combine my fresh herbs into it. Just give everything a quick rough chop, throw it in there, and let, again, the food processor, how many more times am I going to say that? Let that machine do the work. And here's a little trick you can use if you don't have a piping bag, or if you don't want to dig around looking for it and have to wash it and the point afterwards. Take a Ziploc bag, put it in your coffee mug, get it all the way down to the bottom, and then bring it up just a little bit. That way you don't smear your composition all on the edges of the bag. It goes right to the bottom. And then just gently load up the piping bag or the Ziploc bag. Now I'll carefully load the mix into the Ziploc bag, making sure not to get any of it on the sides. I want as much of the mix going to the bottom. Once it's loaded, go ahead and let out all the air through the top. Cut a small corner at the bottom. Whether with a knife or a pair of scissors, I prefer scissors as it gives me more control over the size of the cut. Then just fill the egg whites. I also made another bag with store-bought mayonnaise and that helped with decoration and add a little more flavor to it. And I topped mine with some sliced radishes, Kalamata olives, and capers. Really, you can do whatever you want. I did that for the crunch and some of that umami flavor to it. Finished it off with some thyme and dill, and that's it. We just gourmeted deviled eggs.